So, how did we leave off again? What will become of Orlando? Will Amazon survive? Will it be succeeded by another? And what of the shadowy organization of Shenanarchy? How will the SSM survive and protect themselves from the Shenanarchists? More is to come in the next season of Snakes in Orlando. Oh, right. Welcome to episode 2 of Snakes in Orlando. Immediately picking up where we left off, the secretive organization of Shenanarchy had been raging throughout the server, and the Amazon was in tatters, owing a debt Fox Plays could never repay. So, to solve this slight issue, he simply becomes the bank, and absolves himself of all debt, quickly solving that particular problem. With that tucked out of the way, he set off on his main quest, the destruction of the Shenanarchists. But he knew he could not do this alone. Fox Plays decided it was time for a new faction to rise, the Anti-Shenanarchist Union, with their headquarters set in the once Amazon HQ, their mission to destroy Shenanarchy. He began to search bases for Shenanarchist threats. He searched the Sun Mountain compound particularly closely, but didn't find anything. He did, however, find a few suspicious bases, and promptly burned them to the ground, leaving messages in his wake. For a week, these inquisitions continued, until finally he received an anonymous message from the leader of Shenanarchists, and negotiations began. A peace deal was struck, banning the Shenanarchists from griefing, and most pranks, and they also had to reveal who commissioned the burning of Piggy Siren's house. It was revealed that Hawkinator had asked the Shenanarchists to get rid of Piggy Siren's base. With this, Hawkinator was cast out of the ASU, and peace fell on the realm. During this time of peace, much changed. A community area was fully established, with villager traders and a few shops to boot. Deadly Zombie finished his wizard tower, which was a very long venture. Along with this, a few new people joined up with username in Muckerville to form the Miners Guild. With an O. This being ironic as they're over 18. Now, the Miners Guild, with an O, had one objective and one only, to dig holes, and dig holes they did. As the peace reigned, although the hunt to identify the leaders of Shenanigans was still ongoing, the peace deal only extended to the pranks, not their relationship, and it had worsened. We later found a new monument had been erected at the abandoned ruins of Detroit, and in this tower we found the HQ of the Shenanarchists, and in it, their members. Yes, the secret conspirators behind Shenanarchy were none other than King and Destructor. Now that they were revealed, they were now on the run, fleeing the scene before they could be arrested. Although they were not captured, they were now fugitives, and the ASU was quickly starting the hunt, and attempted to pursue the radicalists. But as this chase continued, the community area grew, with a fighting arena beginning production, later being aptly named The Pit. This time of relative peace, the Miners Guild grew in number, with 2 more members joining the mission. Username begins his project, a headquarters for the miners hidden deep within the Earth's core, a castle made of the finest stone from their quarries. Now, I bring your attention to the Miners Guild, not only to introduce you to a new growing power, but because it seemed there was much Shenanarchist movement in the area, leading the Anti-Shenanarchist Union to investigate the area. And while this investigation took place, the miners and the ASU entered talks, and it was agreed that the Miners Guild would be under the defense of the ASU, and any pranks on them would now be breaking the treaty. After this announcement, all Shenanarchist activities ceased in the area. Despite the great effort put into the hunt for the outlaws, it seemed to be going nowhere, and none were apprehended. So a new course of action was taken. A council with representatives of all factions came together in the meeting room above Fox Plays 77's house, which had now been changed into a barrister's office. Yes, no longer would it be a manhunt. Now it was a class action lawsuit. Every representative brought forth their own complaints and evidence, and it was time for the courthouse to be built. The Shenanarchists must now stand trial and plead their case. As construction began on the courthouse, the community came together to finally put a stop to the Shenanarchists once and for all, to eliminate this threat. But some were not so pleased. We suddenly heard cries. Detective Demon barged in. The tower! It's on fire! We rushed back to the compound to find the burnt remains of the tower. It was unsalvageable. And once we returned to the community area, we found nothing but chaos. Fox Place's base was gone, the animals slaughtered, and a sign saying, "How's this for a case?" Signed, the Shenanigans. They had blatantly broken the treaty, and had rallied every member of the server against them. But I wasn't so sure. The men behind Shenanarchy did not strike me as those who would do this, so I enlisted the help of Detective. It's kinda in the name, to dig a bit deeper for me into the case. And through his investigations, all points led to the Miners' Guild, where he gained an unusual ally, King, who had some remarkably interesting information. Moments before he saw the tragedies, he saw Muckerville go to his base and retrieve a flint and steel. And once he confronted him about it, saying he had a suspicion on who it was who burned down the houses, they got very aggressive towards him. But King needed to prove himself innocent, and for this he returned to his machines in the compound of Sun Mountain, one of which proved very interesting indeed. Though he escaped, we did manage to capture the machine, and with it, managed to go back. We immediately rushed to the scene of the crime, and right there, sign already placed, flint and steel in hand, stood Muckerville, who had quickly apprehended him. King would not stand trial alone. They must now plead their case in court, and be sentenced. But what will the verdict be? Will they have to fight in the pit? Who will win? Why did Muckerville do this? How will the court judge? What will happen next in Snakes in Orlando?